Hello everyone, this is Kona, and thank you for tuning in to another TF2 commentary. Now I'm sure you've been there where there's a spy wrecking your team and you're like, yo, we need a spy check, so maybe you switch off to something like Pyro to take care of it yourself. And Pyro's been pretty much the go-to spy checker since the Afterburn allows you to track him after he goes invis. But with the changes that the spy's been getting over the past few years, it's been getting a little more difficult to deal with him, at least for me in casuals. You know, there's things like the speed boost from the Dead Ringer and Big Earner, you have reduced debuff time, so it's harder to use things like Mad Milk and Girardi, and now the spy's default run speed is 107% compared to the Pyro's 100%, so the spy's main counter, which is the Pyro, is slower than the spy. It's kind of weird. Now, being a Pi bro, where you protect your NG and your medic, is a very effective way to make sure that spies don't get near those classes, but I'll admit, at times, it can be a little bit boring for me to just kind of wait and protect those kinds of things, and they end up just not going near me at all, so I guess I'm sort of doing my part, but still, it can be a little bit boring. And also, Pyro's flamethrower is still very inconsistent. Just still waiting for that Pyro update. So I was thinking, well, sure, Pyro is a great spy checker, but are there other fun ways to spy check with the other classes? Now, some of them might be a little gimmicky, but some of them might also actually be pretty effective. First off, I want to clarify what I mean by spy checking. Now, let me know what you think about this, but I feel like spy checking is actually made up of two parts. The first part is the actual checking itself. It's the part where the enemy spy is trying to get into position for a kill, and he's either cloaked or disguised. Now, spy checking just comes with a lot of practice and time with the game, but it's made a little bit easier with the new user interface, with the class icons at the top. It makes detecting Dead Ringer spies a lot easier, and also the outlines when you respawn on your teammates. If you see a weird outline when you respawn in a weird location, you might want to check that just to make sure he's not a spy. Sorry, spies who like to actually spawn camp, but they added that to the game, so you gotta have to deal with it. Now, the second part of spy checking is the killing part. It's the part where you actually need to chase him down and make sure that he's dead, because if he gets away, he's just going to come back a few seconds later and do it all over again. So I was thinking, well, if Spy is so fast and slippery, why don't we try and use the fastest class in the game, the Scout, for spy checking? His speed is a really big advantage over the Spy, so he can actually chase spies down. The hard part is that you only have a short amount of time to actually do this. Mad Milk is a nice option. I think it's one of the go-to ways of actually checking for spies, but you have to be quick with those cloak spies since the debuff doesn't last that long. Speaking of debuffs, just for fun, I wanted to try out some other melee weapons like the Boston Basher and the Sandman and even the Sun on the Stick to see if they could help. And yeah, I don't know if it really does. I just kind of look like an idiot when I use it. They're very hard to use. I was kind of hoping Scout would have some sort of spy checking melee weapon, but this scattergun really seems like the best option along with Mad Milk. And with the spread of the scatterguns, you can actually hopefully just kind of flash the spy so that you can actually see where he's going. Now on to Soldier, and I honestly couldn't find too many interesting ways to spy check as a soldier other than just playing regular soldier, being aware that spies are there and just shooting at people. I was kind of hoping that the Liberty Launcher could do something with this, like maybe if you saw a spy far away, that extra projectile speed would do something, but I don't know what the Liberty Launcher is supposed to do. Someone please, what is this weapon for? I was thinking like maybe if they added some knockback to this weapon, that would be kind of interesting now that I think about it, because the Liberty Launcher and the Reserve Shooter they were released at the same time, so I thought they were supposed to go together, but I don't really know. It's really hard to pop someone up as Soldier, so maybe if they added just a little bit of knockback to this to make it like a utility weapon, I don't really know what Liberty Launcher is for. Anyway, spy checking as a soldier is a lot of fun, especially when you can rocket jump and bomb in on spies, and using that splash damage to flash spies so that it makes finishing them off a little bit easier. Next is a Demoman, or should I say Demo Knight. Now I know the Sticky Bomb Launcher is pretty good at spy checking, but I've actually been having a lot of fun spy checking as a Demo Knight with the Eyelander, the booties, and I guess any shield really. Demo Knight has been kind of a weird subclass for me because I need to learn when to go in and when to get out. It's sort of that timing thing that I'm still practicing, but I found that hunting for spies is actually a lot of fun. I didn't think it would be that effective, but if you can't charge at the enemy because of a choke point or something, you can just look around for spies, and if you see one, just charge at him. You might be able to bash him away before he gets the stab, but if he does get the stab, hopefully he won't get too far without taking some serious damage first, and then you can just finish him off. And, that's one head collected, right? And technically, all you need is one head with the Eyelander to move faster than the spy, and any heads after that are just going to make it even easier. Actually, collecting heads with spies seems like a really efficient way. If you're having trouble just with other classes, just go spy hunting and just collect heads that way. Plus, Demonite is kind of intimidating. You might be able to just run at your teammates, and if one of them's an enemy spy, you might get a response out of that spy. He might be thinking, does this Demonite know that I'm a spy? I don't know. And if he ever does something weird, like he backstabs or something, and then you're like, oh, okay, he's definitely a spy. You just charge him and you can finish him off. So the last spy checker that I like to use is actually the Heavy, which is kind of weird because he's the slowest class in the game, which means he can't chase down spies, and he's usually so busy shooting at other people that spies just pick him off really easily. But maybe we can use this to our advantage. Now I think there are 4 main classes out there that are spy magnets: the Sniper, the Engineer, the Medic, and the Heavy. Spies love to pick off these classes, so if you're playing one of these, you don't have to worry too much about actually chasing after the spies. They'll come to you. Now I've been really liking the Tommy Slab for this because it allows me to play, I don't know what you call it, it's more of a jumpy type of play style. I don't know, it's where you look forward and look back and look forward and back, and all while jumping and moving around, making yourself harder to be hit or stabbed or whatever. Now I know the Hulong Heater is supposed to be the anti-spy weapon with the whole Ring of Fire thing, but let's be honest, all that weapon really does is eat through a whole bunch of ammo, and it hardly affects spies. Even if they get caught on fire with the afterburn, it won't last that long, and sometimes they just get out of there really quick. So yeah, if you're playing Heavy, don't forget to constantly check behind you for spies. You are the bait. You are the spy bait. Spies will love going for you, and sometimes they'll just even ignore your medic. If a medic is dodging back and forth and he's really hard to stab, sometimes for a spy it might not be worth it to risk missing a backstab and then getting found out and getting killed. So they'll just go for the Heavy instead for like almost guaranteed backstab. But if you're constantly checking behind you, hopefully spies won't even get a chance to go for your medic because you have pretty good range as a Heavy. So those are some of my favorite ways to spy check other than just W plus M1ing as a pyro. But what about you? What are your favorite ways to kill spies? And it doesn't have to be super effective either. Maybe you just really hate spies and you just want to kill them in all these different ways. It can just be for fun. Let me know in the comments below. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.